FC Barcelona is literally blowing up the transfer market. Another radical turn of events. When Atletico de Madrid had spent the whole day laughing at Barça, mocking their offer, saying that Atletico wasn't going to sell, that Julian wasn't going to leave, that Barça didn't have any money, Barcelona has just responded with a very strong move in the market. Bernardo Silva will be a new Barça player. A 2-year contract, a direct request from Hansi Flick, and the most surprising thing of all, Bernardo Silva turns down Atletico de Madrid. The same Atletico that tried to join the deal and spent hours spreading claims that Barça couldn't pull it off. The same Atletico de Madrid that now gets an unexpected blow from Barça. Because Barça isn't just still alive in the race for Julian. Barça has just signed a European champion. A player who has won absolutely everything with Manchester City. A player Flick wanted to bring in for his experience. Pause. Interesting. Intelligence and leadership in the midfield. And pay attention because this is not just a simple call. Sources close to the club already consider it a done deal and Bernardo Silva will play for Barça. But the most important thing is not just the signing. The most important thing is how it was finalized. Because here there's a move by Deco that changes everything again. Deco is Portuguese, Bernardo Silva is Portuguese, Jorge Mendes is also Portuguese. Watch out for this. Barça had been working quietly for days. While all the attention was on Julian and on the bid, a 100 million offer had been rejected. And while the Atletico team's entourage was boasting, Deco was closing another deal. What a turn of events. Leave a like for Deco, please. A deal that seemed impossible. Because Bernardo Silva had been wanting to come to Barça for years. Every summer people talked about him, but the conditions were never right. City wasn't making his departure easy. Barça didn't have salary cap space, and the salary was a problem. The deal always fell through halfway, but this time, everything has changed. Bernardo has said yes. Barça has said yes. Flick has said yes. And Atletico has been left out of the deal. This is the best part. And now comes the question everyone is asking. Why does Bernardo choose Barça and not Atletico de Madrid? The answer is very simple. Because Bernardo Silva has always had one priority, to play for Barça. Because of the style, because of the history. Because of the project and the football philosophy. Cholo is at Atletico de Madrid. Hansi Flick has them playing football like nobody else. And there's the challenge of helping a team return to the Champions League. That's what attracts the Portuguese player the most. Atletico de Madrid tried to convince him, but it's true, they made a move. They offered him a competitive project, but when Barça really got involved, this decision changed everything completely. Bernardo didn't just want to be an important signing, he wanted to wear the Blaugrana shirt, and that changes everything in the market. Because when a player of this level prioritizes Barça, the club has a huge advantage, and Deco has taken advantage of it. But pay attention, because Hansi Flick didn't ask for Bernardo by chance. Flick didn't just want a midfielder, he didn't just want a high-profile player. He wanted a footballer capable of coming into a young locker room and automatically raising the competitive level. And Bernardo fits exactly there, because Barça has a lot of talent. Pedri, Gavi, Fermin, Dani Olmo, Lamine Yamal. But they need players who have been through all the battles, players who know what it's like to play in Champions League semi-finals. Maybe that's what we've been missing the most lately. Players who are used to playing in Champions League finals, high-stakes matches, nights where talent alone isn't enough. You have to have a strong mind. Bernardo has all of that. And he has know-how, experience, and game intelligence. He has a winning mentality. And here's the fact that explains why Flick has insisted so much. Bernardo comes from winning everything with City. Yes, he has been on the best team in the world. He has been coached by Pep Guardiola, and he has competed at the absolute highest level. You could also say that he has played in extremely demanding systems. I mean, he has pushed himself a lot, and he has learned to interpret football like very few others. That's gold for Flick, because Barça needs experience, yes, but not just any experience. They need experience that's compatible with the Barça style. That's exactly the kind of experience Bernardo Silva brings. And Bernardo has it. He can play inside, on the wing, between the lines. He can link up with Pedri. Watch out, because he can free up Lamine Yamal. He can give Dani Olmo a rest, in case Dani Olmo stays. He can slow the game down. He can also speed things up when needed. And he can organize Barça's attack. But there's an even stronger message. This signing is also a message to Atletico de Madrid. Because while Atletico was laughing at Barça over Julian Alvarez, while it was being reported that 100 million wasn't enough, Barça has beaten them in a head-to-head race for Bernardo Silva, and this hurts. It hurts a lot, because Atletico also wanted him and had him on their list. Because they thought it could be a market opportunity. But Bernardo, my friends, has chosen Barça, and that leaves a very clear message. Barça still has an incredible ability to attract players, even if some people want to say otherwise, and claim that the club has no money. That's not true, no matter what they say. Great players want to come to Barça. The reality is that when Barça calls, many still listen. And Bernardo has listened. Now then, how does Bernardo fit into the team? Here's one of the key points, because many will say, where is he going to play? And it's a logical question, but that's exactly what makes the signing so strong. Bernardo doesn't come to fill just one position. He comes to give Flick solutions. He can play as a midfielder. He can play on the right wing. He can even play as a false winger who moves inside. Fermin does that a lot too. And in a long season, that's extremely important, because there will be injuries, rotations, matches every 3 days. There will be the Champions League, the League, and the Cup. There will even be moments when Pedri needs rest, when Olmo can't play every game. Moments when Lamine Yamal needs protection. And that's where Bernardo can make a difference. Not just for his physicality or speed, but also for his intelligence, composure, control, final pass, and knowing when to speed things up and put a game to sleep. And now comes another key point. His contract. 2 seasons. That makes the deal make perfect sense, because Barça isn't tying themselves long-term to a veteran player. They're not doing something crazy like a 5-year deal, a 2-year signing with no risk at all. They're bringing in immediate experience to compete right away. It's a clear message from Flick and Deco. 2 years, just the time Flick needs to bring maturity to a young squad, so the young players can grow surrounded by champions, to try to go for the Champions League, because that's the reality. Laporta wants the Champions League, Barça wants the Champions League, Flick wants the Champions League, Gordon is already signed, Bernardo is joining the project, and watch out for Julian Alvarez. Because it's still on the table, friends of Barça Hoy, and Barça is starting to look like a team truly built to compete, not just to excite and to win. And there's still something even more important. This could directly affect the Julian Alvarez situation, because Atletico has just seen 2 things. First, Barça has room to maneuver. And second, Barça has the ability to convince important players. And that shifts the pressure. Watch out for this, because if Julian wants to come to Barça, and Bernardo has chosen Barça, Atletico de Madrid already knows that the narrative has changed. It's no longer that Barça can't do it, that Barça doesn't have money. No, now it's that Barça is signing players. And they're signing players like no one else is doing in Europe. And that, my friends, carries a lot of psychological weight among clubs, agents, players, and the league itself. Deco is executing, Flick is building, and Laporta is betting big.